Hello everyone, welcome to another video from Fantasy Football Scout. I have a dog on my lap who might appear at some point during this video. But as well as the dog, I'm joined by Gianni, and we're both on green arrows, Gianni. We're doing well.
Come on. Yeah, I'm fairly happy at the moment.
Good.
Fairly happy.
You're kind of yo-yoing, aren't you? You're kind of dropping down to 100k, going up to 100k, dropping down to 200k, sort of sandwiched.
That's how I play the game, mate. But I always get a decent green or a decent red. It's just because, annoyingly, I'm not very good at the whole consistency thing. And ideally, you just get small greens every week of 2k and you end up with a really good season. But my season graph is just that every season, and it's clearly me. It's a me thing.
But that's not entertaining. Just for anyone watching, you've literally just looked like you're waving a magic wand around. The thing. That is your microphone. No, your headset cleaning device, I believe.
It is also known as a chopstick. But for me to be able to get good sound on my old sort of headphone jack, I have to do quite a lot of poking and blowing.
See, people don't know the effort we go into to make these videos. People just don't know, do they? We've got lots to talk about. We've got your team. As I said, both you did well this week. We're going to get into that. We're going to look at your team going ahead for the next week. Get your thoughts on Conte as well. I know you've got lots of thoughts on Conte. What we're going to do with Spurs players and talk about Chelsea fullbacks as well. This is a great one for you. Loads to talk about. You know all this stuff. Before we get into that, I just want to talk about Fantasy 5. Obviously, we're partnered with Fantasy 5 this year at Scouts. It's a complimentary game to play alongside FPL. You can win £10,000 each week. All you've got to do is pick 5 players from 5 different games, and if they hit their fantasy points target, you win, and you get all of them right, and you win 10k. It sounds easy. It is not that easy. I still haven't won it. I'm sure I'm going to at some point. The good thing as well is if you don't win, there's also monthly prizes, seasonal prizes as well. There's a Fantasy Football Scout League that you can join. The description has the links to all of that. Weekly prize as well, Premier League football kits of choice. Monthly prizes. We've had an Apple Watch. That was last month's. We've had a 4K gaming monitor. So really, really good prizes. And the Fantasy Football Scout League is £100 a month for the winner of that. And annual prize is Champions League final tickets. So that'll be very exciting if you win that as well. So head over to Fantasy 5, do your teams, completely free, and you can win all of this great stuff too. If you're interested in that, Gianni and I will be talking about our selection for the game week coming at the end of this video. Right, before we get into that though, let's talk about your game week. We've got loads to talk about here. You got 66 points, which is a big green arrow for you. Really good score. I got 61, and I was really happy with that. So 66, even better. Foster in goal over Ramsdale. We will talk about that in a sec. James, 21, pretty good. Alexander-Arnold, who you bought in, just with the 1. Cancelo with 2. Salah captain, disappointing. Massively backed. I think the highest captain ever in FPL or something.
Really? I didn't know that.
I think so. Really close to 200% effective.
I was delighted with 10 captain points after last week.
Yeah, that's very true. We should have captained Havertz. You would have got even more. Foden with 2. Rafinha, or shaking off his Schrodinger's cat to actually deliver some points and not be injured for once. Havertz got you 6. And then Antonio with 2. Tony with 2, and then Jimenez on Monday Night Football coming in with 9. Really good score. Yeah. Your bench though, Gianni. Ramsdale 10, Livramento 6, Christensen 6, Brownhill 2. Yeah, talk me through it. What do you make of it all?
I mean, I don't want to moan. I can't moan off that green arrow. But the benching stuff annoys me because it's 24 points, and it's 24 points that I lost out the week before from the Salah captaincy, and then 24 points again this week on bench. I'm like, this 24 number is just going to kill me all season, isn't it? But look, when Reece James gets you 21, you've just got to go, I'm happy days. So that was obviously a big win, Reece. And I made what was... I wildcarded in game week 7 and went Rudiger over James because James was injured. And at the time, Chilwell, we didn't know was going to be a starter, right? He was on the bench back then. So I went Rudiger. And a week after wildcard, I saw James was fit. And I was like, I've got a free transfer. I've just wildcarded. I'm going to go, James is back now. I'm going to go James to Rudiger. And I was really worried doing that. And that week, James came off the bench, got a 1-pointer. Rudiger got like 9 or 6 or whatever he gets. But I did it for the upside. And I've always said with Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea, the points is in the fullbacks. Like you just have to watch 10 minutes of Chelsea play to go, if you play FPL, you need to cover the fullbacks, not the centre-backs. So, look, well, I mean, I've got Christensen in my team. Sure, there's nothing wrong with the centre-backs, but the upside is there. So I made that very sideways move, and straight away it didn't pay off, Rudiger to James. But long-term, it massively, massively will. And I've seen signs of that already with his 21 whopping points. And before he scored the goals, he was up 15 BPS on Chilwell already before he scored the goals. Like, he's a points magnet in FPL.
He could have had an assist as well. Amazing ball across the box that no one could turn in. He is fantastic. I mean, we say every week, the issues are, will he start enough? Will he come off the bench? I mean, we saw in the Champions League, he didn't come off the bench, which is good. But there is always that kind of concern with him a little bit. I mean, I was looking at your team. I wanted to pick holes in your selection, in your starting 11, and say, oh, you should have played blah, blah, blah. I mean, I played Foster over Ramsdale well. I did. I am now looking at that and thinking, I had Vardy, so I didn't want to do the clash. I guess the problem with Foster is, like, I just don't know about, like, the cycling goalkeeper. Is he a bit distracted? I don't know. I find it all a bit weird. Ramsdale is having the kind of last few weeks, he's been absolutely immense. I mean, the save from Maddison's free kick.
That's going to be one that is sort of remembered for years to come, I think. A bit like the David Seaman FA Cup final save against Sheffield United, that sort of clawing back. This will be another one. And it was just save after save. But I look back at it and go, clearly it was the wrong call, but Leicester should have scored bags of goals. Leicester were all over them and had a huge amount of opportunities. Those worldies, we just can't predict. What we can try and predict is, will that team be up against it and will they concede lots of shots? Yeah, they were up against it. And yeah, they did concede lots of shots. So, look, I mean, I'm annoyed by it, but at the same time, I'd probably still go Foster again over Ramsdale. So it is what it is. And then you look at Livramento, for the last 4 weeks, I think he scored... by the way, I think 24 points was very similar, and he's been on my bench for every single one of them. And
every week you come on here saying, "Oh, I spotted him. He's my boy. He's the Chelsea guy." You never even play him.
I know. There I am singing from the rooftops. I'm the one that tweeted about him in August before the season started. But who do you play him? Should I have played him instead of Tony? No. Should I have played him instead of Trent? No.
Like I say, I just don't think you could have played. I mean, you could have got lucky, and I mean, I had Smith Rowe coming on this week for Mbomo. So if you'd had Mbomo, you would have got one of them on. But I don't think you can beat yourself up too much. I think
subs, mate. Everyone in the community is getting auto subs because they've got likes of Mbomo, you know, and they're all getting Livramento 6s. I think I've had 4 auto subs all season.
just not like it. I mean, you still can play. I mean, 66 points though.
I know. I'm very happy.
It's a hell of a score. And the nice thing is, you had lots of different players chipping in. James. It wasn't just James. You had Havertz with the assist, Rafinha getting the goal, Salah with the assist, and then Jimenez is 9. Is
that
really
was
nice.
Valuable. Jimenez is 9. Jimenez and Rafinha, those 2 9s were actually more rewarding than the James 21 in a weird way, because they're 2 players that I've stuck with for a while, and I needed to deliver, or they'd be on the chopping block. And now I'm thinking, actually, I'm not selling Jimenez and I'm not selling Rafinha, and both of them were kind of on the cusp getting to that point.
Yep, no, absolutely. Let's take a look at your team for game week 11 then. So
Livramento starts.
He does. Spoilers.
Maybe.
Yeah, this is a really interesting one. So you've gone for Ramsdale in goal, unsurprising, against Watford, and then you've got Livramento, James, Trent, and Christensen. And then Salah, Foden, Rafinha, Havertz, Jimenez, and Tony. Strong-looking team. Your bench, though, I can see some points here. Foster, Antonio on your bench, first sub. Cancelo, second sub. And then Mr. Brownhill is also there. So talk me through the Antonio and Cancelo benching. There's got to be a bit of a fear, right? They're going to come in.
Yeah, there's a massive fear. Like, Antonio we saw last season, Antonio, I think, is fairly fixture-proof. I think he got a couple of goals against Man City last season, turns up in big games. Like, West Ham look good. They're not a part of the bus team against the big teams. They'll have a go. So Antonio benching is going to be a very difficult one. I actually am looking at this now and thinking perhaps Christensen is benched and I play a back 3, just because, as much as Christensen's fixture is great against Burnley, if they do score, I've got 2 clean sheet wipeouts there and I'm just spreading the risk. Maybe I bench Christensen and go Antonio in. But again, I'm looking at my forwards. I'm not benching Tony, and I don't think I should bench Jimenez. As good as Palace have been at the back, really impressed by Wolves of late. Like, really impressed by them. I think the front 3 of Trincao, Hwang and Jimenez has really clicked
Yeah.
to the point where you've got Podence and Traore, both very good players, can't get a look in. So I can't bench Jimenez. And then I'm expecting big things from Havertz this week. Like it's the last week in my team. He's got to deliver. This is his week. And he will play number 9. I know he got 90 for Chelsea, but he's the only option. Lukaku and Werner are out. And I can't bench Foden. There's a chance Foden and Christensen, one of those guys could be benched anyway and might not feature. And then I get bench points and I get an auto sub finally. But yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, looking at my 11 I know you're a big Antonio fan. I'm guessing you would get him in.
I'm benching him.
Are you?
I'm benching him this week. Yeah. I don't know if it's the right call. I think he can obviously do damage. I don't like clashes. I think with Trent there as well. I want to kind of, I'm a bit like you in a way. I don't like this kind of steady thing. I like to kind of try and target, big returns, and it's not always the most sensible strategy. I wouldn't always advise it, but this is a kind of a, when you've got a player like Antonio with such a high, 40% ownership, something like that. Lots of people are talking about selling him as well, but he's going to be he's going to be highly backed. So I'm looking at this as an opportunity to try and bring in someone and try and get ahead. So I'm bringing in Smith Rowe for him. I'm benching Cancelo at the moment as well for Shane Duffy.
We are actually very similar. I often look at your teams and your decision, and just from these chats and go, yeah, as and I are on a level there. Like we have very similar thought processes. So yeah, glad about that, mate.
Yeah, kind of all or nothing, right? I don't know. Yeah. I want to, I want to push up. I'm in a decent position now, 21k. I want to push up into the top 10k, top 1k, and
you're not sitting there happy.
I don't want to consolidate. I don't believe in that. I want to push up for as high as I can, and Antonio could hit a brace. It wouldn't surprise me that much. It could massively hurt, but you kind of got to go for these things. It's Cancelo that worries me more, if I'm being honest. Varane's out for United, looks like hamstring injury. I think City are going to go into that game wanting to lay a marker down after a big, bad result against Palace. Yeah. And obviously Cancelo always got the potential to hit high numbers. United are going to struggle to score in that game, I think, as well. I think this could be a Cancelo.
They won't have the ball much, will they, United? No. Especially with the back five, that one fewer player in midfield.
Well, can they play a back five without
true.
Without Varane? It'd be what? Lindelof, Maguire, and Bailly. I mean, Bailly was good last night.
He was amazing. He was their man of the match.
Yeah,
but then
Maguire go with that.
Yeah, I think they'll have to go with that somehow. And maybe you could argue you could play Luke Shaw as the left centre back and then play Dallo as the wing back.
That's true. Yeah, could do that.
We have seen Luke Shaw play left centre back, but yeah, again, I wouldn't want to be trusting Luke Shaw as a centre back at the moment. He's just positionally out of his depth, it seems. But I think Man City win big. But I do go, it's Old Trafford, and there's match winners in Cavani, Rashford, Ronaldo that I don't think they'll be winning any matches, but I think they'll be scoring a goal. I do think they score, but I think, it'll be 3-1 City or 4-1 City, but I do think United score.
I think it's interesting that this is the week that you choose to play Livramento when you've got Antonio and Cancelo who look good. I mean, I don't know. I think I'd play either of them over Livramento, if I'm being honest.
Would you?
But then again, Livramento has been great and Villa have been shocking. So you just, you're in the same position as me. I was when I saw you had Antonio and Cancelo bench the same as I did. I thought, we are actually quite similar.
You have Livramento.
I do.
Must have. What? So you'll be benching him as well? Yeah.
Yeah. So my bench will be Antonio, Cancelo, and Livramento at the moment.
Wow.
Which is
because you've got Smith Rowe where I've got Brownhill.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes
sense. It's bench boost almost territory for me because I've got.
I nearly bench boosted last week. I genuinely, and I know I got 24. It's easy to say now, but I genuinely was looking at a bench boost last week but I just couldn't properly consider it because I know us sort of FPL enthusiasts and us Kinos shouldn't be bench boosting now. I know it's worth waiting for.
I quite like the idea of getting rid of it.
Yeah, it's the one ship we hate, isn't it?
I hate it. I just hate the fact you've got to build your wild card around it. That's what I hate about it. There's a few people I know bench boosted in game week 1 just to kind of get rid of it. I don't think they had huge scores, but in the same time they got 12 points. I mean, what realistically are we going to get from it? 20 points, 25 points? That'd be a good return.
I'd love 25. I think I always get about 12. Yeah, I always do really poorly on it.
That's what I mean. I am. I can't. I don't think I'll do it, but it is. I think we might see a few bench boosts this week because there is some good games for players that people are benching. I guess if I'm not backing Antonio though to score against Liverpool, then there's not much point in doing it. Let's talk about Spurs. So going forward, have you got any plans to bring in Spurs players? How do you think they're going to do under Conte? And who would you pick out of Son Kane?
Yeah, so I've got 2.3 million in the bank. So at the moment, I'm just looking at my team, and my plan was always that Havertz place was always going to move in game week 12 to Son. Like I bought in Havertz knowing it was just for those 3 games before the international break when Lukaku and Werner are out. I do not want Havertz when Lukaku and Werner are back in the team. Massive rotation risk. So the plan was Son comes in, and at the moment I've got enough money to bring in Son with still 0.2 in the bank. So Havertz to Son is my planned move. Do I want to do it this week? No, because I want Havertz versus Burnley. As much as I think Son is a good fixture against Everton away, like Everton's defense has been arguably the worst in the league in the last 2 games. I mean,
squishy, aren't they? Squishy without Decore. Teams can just carve through them at will at times. It's not good. It could be. It's a very good first game for Conte, I think, to come in.
It's a lovely first game. And I saw a graphic Sky Sports put up on Monday night during the game. And it was something like the win percentage with and without Yerry Mina was just like when Yerry Mina doesn't play, they also really struggle. So no Mina, no Decore is huge for them.
Yep.
But at the same time, I would love to see Conte set up for 1 week before I make a decision on Spurs. And I want to see how they play. So I am biding my time. And also because I think Havertz has got the brilliant fixture, I keep him in for 1 week because I could just go Havertz to Son now. I do think it's going to be a 3-5-2. And my take on Conte, who I make no secret of the fact that I'm not saying he's the best manager in the world. I'm not saying I think he is the GOAT, but I am saying he is 100% my favourite manager in world football. I've said it for years. Like, I love the guy, and I am super excited to see him back in the league that I know and love, the league I watch more than any other. I'm excited to see him in the Premier League. At the same time, Spurs are a competitor for the team I support, and I look at it and go, I don't want him bringing instant success there, and that's what he will do. I say instant success. I don't think they'll win anything this year, but next year, I think they will. They'll win something. Winning the league's probably a bit ambitious when you look at that squad. I can't see how they're ever going to catch the big 3 in 18 months, but there'll be trophies coming somewhere or another. And I think it's going to be a 3-5-2 which for Son makes him so valuable. Like at Inter, the whole time it was 3-5-2. At Chelsea, it was actually 3-4-3 and then a bit of 3-5-2. But at Italy, before Inter, it was all 3-5-2 as well. And what he went with was usually end of Chelsea, Italy, and Inter. It was always big man, little man. So it was Giroud, Hazard. It was Eder, Pele. It was Lautaro Martinez, Lukaku. Now, he doesn't have necessarily big man, little man at Spurs, but in terms of attributes, big man, little man doesn't necessarily just have to mean like
Son,
height.
I guess, is sort of big man, little man.
And it's very different attributes, isn't it? Like, it's what a big man, little man would provide. Like, Kane will be the one that can hold up play, put good balls through and still score goals. And Son will be the one often running in behind, getting on the end of those Kane passes, like we saw at times under Mourinho. So I think both will become really good assets and there'll be goals in that team. I do think Son is cheaper out of position.
Yeah.
For me, Son's the number 1 pick, Kane the number 2. And then you look at it and go, will there be value in the wing backs? Well, yeah, because Conte relies so heavily on wing backs to get assists. So, and he gets clean sheets. We don't know who's going to play right wing back. He might convert a winger. He might convert a Lucas Moura. He's converted Candreva at Inter. He converted Moses at Chelsea. Maybe Emerson Royale can do the wing-back thing. I don't know enough about him. They paid 30 million from him from Barca. He's clearly got pedigree. Reguilon, we know, can do the wing-back thing, and there's definitely an elite player there with the right coaching. So I guess Reguilon becomes sort of the other sort of big 3 picks with Kane and Son. I'm excited. I'd be very excited as a Spurs fan. Apparently today, first training session, he hosted a 11-11 match, and both teams set up in a 3-5-2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any question marks. He's going to set up with a 3-5-2. I think he's got a lot of the players kind of ready for. You mentioned Reguilon. I think Emerson will play at right wing back. You know, they paid 40 million for Romero, and he's played in the back 3 before, and he's going to boost the prospects of the defence because, I mean, Dyer's not good enough, but it might look a bit better with someone like him alongside him.
With some proper coaching. Like,
exactly.
You can't underestimate what Conte does on that training ground. Yeah. He turns average players into good-looking players just from coaching.
I think that the question marks are in the midfield. because he
Yeah.
plays with deep lying playmakers, right? And Ndombele, Højbjerg will do fine in that role, but then it's going to be,
Yeah.
I mean, Lo Celso. A lot of people are talking about him sort of coming sort of back in from the cold and operating in that role. Because the big problem, I mean, there's the thing with Kane is you've got all this stuff going on about does he care? I think this can only help him. Bringing in an elite manager like Conte is only going to say to Kane, look, we are serious about challenging again. You know, you're our main man. We need you. Hopefully, for Kane's sake, he can buy into that and, you know, not look as disinterested as he has done in the last few weeks. But the second thing is, can his system actually unlock it? Because there's just such a lack of creativity in that side. They never replaced Eriksen properly. That was the biggest problem. And, you know, Conte used Eriksen at Inter to great effect, but played him in a very deep role. So I think that's going to be the priority in January is bringing in a bit more creativity. But I think Son, for me, Kane's a wait and see. I'm still not entirely convinced. I can only see Son being a great option going forward. He's gonna love it. He's gonna love playing in that system, and he already looks up for it, even under Nuno when everyone had given up.
I think he got a new contract a few months ago, didn't he? So that helps. And Kane just looks like, for me, I'm with you, like massive wait and see, because it's almost you look at Kane and go, is he just so anti-Spurs at the moment? Yeah. He's not playing for the shirt. He's not playing for the fans. He's not playing for the owner. He's almost a bit like, you know, putting two fingers up to Spurs at the moment by his performances.
Yeah, well, it's Levy that he's fallen out with, right? That's what this all kind of comes down to. Is he feels like he had an agreement with him to be sold, and Levy didn't honour it. So, you know, but if that stems from the fact that he didn't really believe in the way Spurs were progressing, then maybe this is a turning point, because it's like, look, we are going to compete because we've got in this guy. It's really, really interesting. I think it's exactly the appointment Spurs needed to make. I don't really know how they've done it, because it doesn't seem like a great place to come into for Conte.
He could go anywhere. Like he could, if he'd waited a couple of weeks, he gets the United gig.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm guessing he's been promised a hell of a lot of a transfer budget, and he's going to buy a centre-back and a creative midfielder. Yeah. Those two things are top of his list. He has to buy a passing centre-back and someone that can do a bit of deep playmaking from the midfield. I mean, bring Eriksen back. He's not allowed to play at Inter anymore. There's a rule in Italy that says he can't play because of his conditions.
Really?
So he's actually up for grabs, and apparently Inter are going to help him find a new club. But yeah, he's been linked with a few in Europe.
Wow, Spurs would love that if they got Conte and Eriksen came back. He's absolutely love that. Very interesting. So, are you the same as me, saving a transfer this week and then looking to get in a Spurs player after the international break? That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, there's just no obvious transfer other than Havertz to Son, and I'm going to wait a week on that. And the ones I wanted for this week, I wanted to bring Trent back, and I've done that because I nearly rolled last week. And then I wanted Brentford cover. I always planned Mbeumo for this week, and I actually thought Rafinha might be the sell. But after watching Rafinha for Leeds, I just don't want to sell him. And I don't want to gamble on a player that isn't 100% match fit yet. I mean, we all thought he was going to start last weekend and he didn't. And when hamstrings are funny, like you can be out for longer than you expect with a hamstring injury. And that's what I think he's got. And I've already got Tony for, it was just targeting Norwich, but also Brentford haven't looked great in recent weeks. So maybe that Norwich game's tighter than we all think. So single Brentford attack will have to suit me this week.
But you could afford Havertz or Son this week if you wanted to.
Yeah, I've got.
That's got to be tempting, isn't it? Havertz has been rubbish.
I've got 2.3 in the bank, so it'd leave me with 0.2 extra, so I can afford it and then a little bit extra. It is tempting, but maybe it's the Chelsea fan in me as like I watched Havertz again last night and thought he played really well. The performances have been there. The FPL points haven't, and we often only see things as FPL, right? We go, he's blanking, not playing well. Actually, for me, Havertz in that 9 channel was looked as good as we've had in the 9 channel this season. Like he's linked up really well with Hudson-Odoi, really well with Ziyech and the 2 wing backs. And Chelsea playing good football with him as the 9 because his touch and hold up is so good. He can still run the channels. He's guaranteed to start against Burnley. I can't sell him.
I'm just gonna say I'd do it. I think I'd do it. I would do Havertz or Son this week if I were you. I
know Late Riser and Zoff said the same thing.
Yeah. Be interesting if you're... I don't know why I keep saying if you're watching this video. Like, obviously, you're watching this video. Like, otherwise you wouldn't hear me. But yeah, for people watching this video, it'd be interesting to know what you think about this because... Yeah, I wonder.
Knowing I'm doing it next week as well.
Knowing you're doing it next week,
like, just do it now.
Are you? Is this kind of bias where you're so desperate for points from this guy who's not really been delivering?
Yeah,
you feel like if you sell him and then he hits the hall, it's like it's all been a waste. It is a really tricky one. I know exactly the the decision. And I guess, waiting a week, it's just Everton are so poor. And
They are
surely
so
Spurs are
poor.
going to be lifted, but then they might not be. Maybe we will see the absence of creativity. Very, very, very interesting one, tricky one. We're going to see a lot of people moving for Spurs assets, I think, this week. And yeah, I think I'm happy to give them a week, but I can't do it in one move. So I'm saving the transfer and then I'll be doing it next week.
Yeah, I do think Rafa could park the bus as well. If Spurs were at home, I'd be more tempted. And if Chelsea were away, if it was the other way around and Chelsea were going to Burnley and Spurs were hosting Everton, I'd make the move.
Yeah, interesting. Captain, any chance you could captain someone other than Salah?
I don't think so. If I hadn't been stung 2 weeks ago,
Best defensive numbers over the last 4 in the league for West Ham.
Honestly, if I hadn't been stung by Salah, again, this is going back to previous mistakes and letting that influence my decision. It shouldn't. I should look at every decision on its own merit. But if I wasn't stung by Salah captaincy 2 weeks ago, I would be looking at Reece James captain. But I was, and I don't want to go through that again. I watch every game as well, which is painful because knowing I'll be watching when the Liverpool play. Yeah, it's a Super Sunday 4:30 game. I'll be watching that. I can't. And it was, ironically, it was the 4:30 Sunday game when Salah killed me with 24 points. So I can't watch that as a non-Salah captainer. And that's not going to be my basis every week. But knowing it's so fresh, knowing I still think he is a great shout, I would be tempted by Reece James, but there isn't any other big candidate there.
No, I think that's the problem. I mean, I'm a little bit tempted by James. I think I read somewhere, this might not be right, but Salah has got 9 goals against West Ham, which is his best against any side in the Premier League as well. I don't know how much stock you put into these things. I'm kind of on the fence, but something like that does make me...
He scored a worldie at the London Stadium last season. They were behind and it was a ball over the top and it was a brilliant touch and goal. I can't remember.
I think there's something in it. I think players have if you've got a good record against a side, then I think you go into that match full of confidence and thinking, I mean, Salah doesn't need any more confidence anyway, but also there might be a bit of fear. But it is interesting. I think I can't see Salah getting a huge haul. I mean, I've said that before and he has. It's just knowing who to go to, because I mean, you want to turn to someone like Brentford, for example, because they've got Norwich, but Tony hasn't scored in like 5 or 6 games. You really trust him with the armband? Reece James, I think, is the only one for me, or Chilwell, because they both had the rest in Europe.
Yeah.
And like we've talked about, they're not defenders. You're captaining a midfielder.
Yeah, absolutely.
With clean sheet. I mean, Tuchel's even said, hasn't he, that they're not defenders in his system. Yeah. They are midfielders. So they're out of position. It's just kind of changing the way you look at it. It's the only one for me, James or Chilwell. But I'm probably going to go for Salah as well, to be fair.
Yeah, and I know Salah only got the 5 points last week, but actually he could have had way more. There was a goal disallowed. Like there is always goals there. It'll be interesting to watch because we'll get to see a bit of Salah this evening and go, okay, let's just make sure Liverpool are looking good. If they get hammered by Atletico and Salah blanks and they don't score, maybe that turns a few heads, but I still think we go there.
Yeah, I think West Ham have been conceding as well. I mean, the numbers have been good, but they still find a way to concede
one goal,
and yeah, I just can't see them keeping the clean sheet against Liverpool in any capacity. And if they, and if they don't, you've got to back Salah to be involved. So yeah, pretty boring, but we're both probably sticking with Salah. I think that's it. Anything else you wanna touch on with your team?
No, I mean it's very rare you look at your team and go, I can't see an obvious transfer, or you can just see one potential transfer, i.e. the Son Havertz thing. So I'm in a good place. Like I've got lots of players with really nice fixtures this week. I'm hoping it's just one of those weeks where everything clicks in and looks good. But famous last words. I don't look at one single player in my 11 and think a blank is unrealistic. A return is unrealistic.
Yeah.
Like even Foden and Jimenez and Livramento, I think a return is I've got a good chance of a single return there. So we'll see.
Oh, I'm going to remind you of that. That's a nice soundbite when they're all blank.
I know, famous last words.
It really is.
I'm never usually this confident looking at my 11. I do think Antonio could sting me, and I wonder if Christensen comes out just because Burnley are the sort of team that can always get that one goal, and they are. Burnley's attack is definitely
good.
one to start monitoring.
They were good against Brentford. Really, really good.
So much better. It's not Sean Dyche we all know and love. No. It's like he's committing numbers and Cornet looks amazing.
He's a bit like you as a manager. He fluctuates. One minute they're Barcelona, and the next he's got them set up to hack people down. You never really know what you're going to get. Should be an interesting game that. because it's it's two obviously very different styles and things. But I'd imagine Chelsea come through it. But I think there might be a few scares for them because, like you say, Cornet and Wood can cause damage, and they've got Dartmouth Neal. They've got players that can hurt. But I'm expecting a Chelsea win. Right, let's talk Fantasy 5 then. £10,000 on the line. 5 games: Chelsea, Burnley, Brighton, Newcastle, Everton, Spurs, Leeds United, Leicester, West Ham, Liverpool. So I just really want to win. I'm not going to lie. We could look at Burnley players. So Chris Wood 6'5", Barnes 6'5". You've got Cornet, who you mentioned. Cornet, guess what his target is?
If it's lower than 6'5",
it's 4'5".
Oh, well, maybe we go him.
It's got to be, right. That's a bit of a gift.
If it's lower, I was thinking if it's lower than 6'5", we probably go there. I can see Burnley getting one goal.
Yeah, that's an assist. One assist, and he's got it. He's playing out of position up front. I think that's a no-brainer. You've the Chelsea boys. You've got Rudiger at 6'5", Reece James 9'5", Chilwell 8'5". I think they're a bit too much. I think Cornet's a really solid choice.
Yeah, I like that. Like Cornet has only moved to Burnley for the shop window, and what bigger platform to smash it when you visit Stamford Bridge?
Absolutely. Yep. Brighton, Newcastle next. Mopay 8'5". No, thank you. Mwepu 7'5". Despite Klopp saying he doesn't think he meant it, which is a load of rubbish. 100% meant that goal. He's 7'5". Trossard's 7'5" as well, who I like the look of. Played in false 9.
Out of position, yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll. I think Mopé will come back in, and I think the false 9 was tactical. But Trossard will play out of position anyway. Cucurella's 8'5", which is a lot.
Ooh. Callum Wilson, is he an option?
Callum Wilson's an option. He is 6'5", so he needs more than a goal. That's the only issue with him.
More than one, yeah.
I like Trossard at 7'5". I think a clean sheet and a goal isn't unrealistic for Trossard, and then he'd hit he'd get 8, so he'd hit the 7'5".
Is Lamptey listed, or because I think this could be This could be when Lamptey starts.
Yeah, Lamptey's in at 6'5". Bit of a risk, obviously, if he'll play or not. Duffy's also 6'5". I think he could cause more of problems from set pieces. So yeah, I'll leave it to you. I mean, Lamptey, Duffy, or Trossard, they're probably our best picks.
I can't pick for this one, mate. This has to be you.
I'm going to go for Trossard.
Yeah,
I think
I'm up for that.
He was fantastic against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Did you see Garth Crooks on BBC Sport? Trossard had a great game, but I don't like false 9, so I'm not going to pick him. Like, what are you talking about? He was absolutely fantastic. He scored another goal as well in that game.
Has he never picked Firmino then?
Probably
on
not.
His team. Like, come on,
not. Yeah, I know. Come on, can't sort it out. Yeah, I really like Trossard. I thought his feet. He has these glimpses where he just looks like such a world beater, but just doesn't do it consistently. I'd love to see him, performing like that to that level more regularly.
There's definitely an elite player there.
There is. There really is.
I remember when he first signed for Brighton, thinking, this guy gets in the Belgium squad. What's he doing at Brighton? Like, if you're getting in the Belgium squad at his age, when he was, you've got a seriously good player.
Yeah. If he put in performances like he did against Liverpool consistently, he would be playing for a top team, 100%. Yeah. I've got no doubt. Everton Spurs next. So Richarlison's at 6'5", Kane 6'5", nice and cheap for him. I'm still not entirely convinced. Son's 8'5" though, so quite a bit more. And then you look at the fullbacks. So Emerson 6'5", Reguilon 6'5", playing probably out position mids. Yeah, not a bad shout. And they're the same price as the Everton defenders, who I just don't think we go anywhere near. I think we're probably at Kane 6'5".
That seems very cheap.
Seems low for him, right?
Yeah.
Or we go for one of the wing backs.
Kane or Reggie for me. I'm happy with either though at 6'5". Probably Kane for the pen. I don't think he's had a penalty this season, has he? Spurs pen.
No, I mean he needs more than a goal.
More than one, yeah.
But I think Everton could be pretty obliging.
He'll be putting Son in for fun. I mean, Son against the likes of Holgate and Godfrey, he'll give him a Michael Keane had a dreadful game on Monday night.
Yeah, he did. I mean, the defense just doesn't look good, and they've got no protection at all, really. It's a bit of a mess for Benitez at the moment. Okay, Leicester, Leeds United. I mean, Vardy's 6'5". That seems really cheap. Rafinha's 8'5". You've got Tielemans at 6'5", Maddison at 7'5".
What's Rodrigo? Number 9. He'll be playing number 9, and Leicester haven't conceded.
Rodrigo is 6'5". Same as Vardy.
Yeah, it's Rodrigo or Vardy then, isn't it?
I think it's got to be Vardy.
Yeah.
I mean, Leeds have been better defensively. Leicester are just so hit and miss at the moment, but yeah,
They are scoring goals, aren't they?
They are.
Like, I know they kept the clean sheet against Arsenal, but so many big chances. Like they are creating a lot of chances.
Yeah, and like, Maddison's free kick should have gone in, and he should have had another one. Let's be honest. I can't believe the dog's still on me.
I know, he's very happy up there.
He's been snoring away. We're going to go for Vardy, and then the final one then is West Ham Liverpool. So, well, the West Ham players are nicely priced actually. Antonio 6.5, Declan Rice 5.5, scored and got an assist I think in the last game. Ben Rama 7.5, that's a bit too high. But then you're looking at Liverpool. I mean, Salah's 11.5, Mane 10.5, Jota 10.5. These are quite a lot. Going down to defence, Trent's 8.5, Van Dijk 6.5.
Knowing we're both benching Antonio in FPL, maybe he could be the guy that actually goes, it's fine he got a haul because he's won us 10 grand.
Oh, that's very true. Yeah. Maybe that is that kind of like hedging your bets kind of thing. I do like. Yeah. There's no one that really stands out for me here.
The Liverpool players are super high.
They are really high, and it's not an easy game for them. I can't see them getting 3 or 4 goals in this game. I think West Ham are a really, really good side.
Yeah, Zuma and Ogbonna at the back is a nice centre back pairing. They are locking teams out.
Should be a great game. Let's go for Antonio then.
Yeah, go on then. Yeah, no, I mean knowing Ben Rama's more, Antonio seems good value.
Yeah. So our team that's going to win us 10 grand is, we never said that before, is Cornet, Trossard, Kane, Vardy, and Antonio.
Oh, loads of 6.5 forwards.
Love
of
that. 6.5. And Cornet at 4.5 is a steal, I think. Cool. I will lock that in. As I said, there's all links in the description if you want to play. It's as easy as just picking 5 players and you could win money. Make sure you join the Fantasy Scout League too. Gianni, that is it for us for another week. I will see you again next week. Oh, no, I won't. It's international break. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Oh, not another international break.
I know. How is there another one already?
Oh, I know. So we'll be back in 2 weeks with our next video here. But thanks everyone for watching. And Gianni, I will see you in a few weeks.
Thanks, mate. See you soon. Good luck, everyone. It's going to be a big week. Loads of greens.
Fingers crossed. See ya.